The convention program. We encourage everyone to remain in the auditorium during the entire program so as not to miss any of what has been prepared. How can you reach worthwhile long-term goals? How can Jehovah's example guide your efforts? Please give attention to the first symposium of this convention. Brother George Carter from the East Rome, Georgia congregation will begin with the talk, "There is an appointed time for everything." Reflect on Jehovah's view of time. Each speaker will then introduce the one to follow.
It's often been said that the two greatest warriors of life are patience and time. Now, why is that? It's because of the fast-paced world that we live in. People want instant answers, instant results, quick fixes. The average individual wants results right now, don't they? And patience is almost non-existent. However, this fast-paced, quick response world that we live in actually runs counter to Jehovah's view of time. In fact, let's look at a set of verses that beautifully highlights this contrast. It's found for us at Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and let's read here verses 1 through 8. And it reads there, Ecclesiastes 3:1, "There's an appointed time for everything, a time for every activity under the heavens. A time for birth and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what was planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to wail and a time to dance, a time to throw stones away and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up as lost, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to rip apart and a time to sew together, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace." Now, some have read these words and misunderstood them to mean that our lives are somehow controlled by fate. However, when you look closely at these words, and especially the context, it becomes apparent that Solomon was actually helping us to appreciate a vital Bible principle. And what is that principle? It's this: there is an appointed time for everything, or we can say a more favorable time for success. Now take, for example, verse 2, the second part. It says there, a time to plant and a time to uproot what was planted. Now, if a farmer chooses to plant his corn in the late fall, just before winter, instead of spring like everybody else, he's not going to get good results, is he? No matter how hard he tries. Why? Because it was not the most favorable time. So if we want to see success, then we must be able to discern the most favorable time and then work in harmony with Jehovah's arrangements. Now, in order for us to do this, it's going to require us to cultivate and exercise a quality that can be especially difficult for imperfect humans. It's the quality of patience. Yes, exercise patience, our convention theme. Now, one of the ways that we can exercise patience is actually to reflect on Jehovah's view of time. Now, Jehovah God is the King of eternity. And as the King of eternity, he's not pressured by time as if it was somehow running out for him. And there are several places throughout the scriptures that really highlight this, but it's the creation account that really stands out. We see there in Genesis that Jehovah was very methodical, wasn't he? He went step by step by step. And then Job 38 tells us how Jehovah actually took the earth's measurements, how he sunk its pedestals, and then laid the cornerstone. And no doubt all of this would have taken thousands of years to complete. And then, when Jehovah was done, he actually took the time to reflect on his work, saying that it was very good. So, what's the lesson, friends? What's the point for us? It's this: worthwhile things in life take time and patience. Time and patience. In fact, Jehovah created us with the ability to comprehend that very important point. He actually gave humans a quality that he didn't share with any other creation here on our planet. So, what's the quality? Let's read this together. Drop down to verse 11. We're still in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, but this time, verse 11. It says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has even put eternity in their heart. Yet mankind will never find out the work of the true God has made from the start to the finish." Did you notice there that Jehovah has put eternity in our heart? See, humans are unique in that we reflect on time right now, but we also reflect on time tomorrow and into the future. And we want to go on living into the future even forever. And in time, Jehovah God will no doubt satisfy that desire. However, currently, due to our imperfection, our time is short, isn't it? We only have a limited amount of time to act. So the admonition is this: act now during a favorable time, but then wait patiently on the results. Why? Worthwhile things in life take time and patience. Now, we must admit that really only Jehovah God, the King of eternity, can really understand eternity. However, in the following video, notice how our brothers and sisters are helped to exercise patience by reflecting on Jehovah's view of time.
I wish I was a grown-up already.
Do you? There's so much to learn in becoming a grown-up.
I hate waiting. Can't Jehovah just make me grow up faster?
Good things take time to grow. Jehovah made us to live forever. He put eternity in our hearts. August. Take a look at these trees. They were already big when your mom and I were your age. But the stream was watering them, making them grow stronger and taller. I know you want to grow up, and you'll get there. Just walk with Jehovah and enjoy the journey.
Dad. Dad, have you seen my ball? Thanks.
I'm gonna get ready for the day, okay?
Okay. Growing up, August felt like he didn't have any friends in the congregation. But recently, he's been using his time to cultivate a friendship with Ben. Good kid, new to the congregation. I can't shake the feeling things have been tough for him at home for a long time. They've got a great group of friends. Harlan, Chantel, and Mallory. She's applied for SKE a number of times, but hasn't been invited yet. Funny, it can be so easy to size up everybody else's life, except your own. It's been years since I've lost my privileges. Brothers, I completely understand the decision. And I fully support it.
Xavier, we know that you can serve again someday.
Will I ever be useful again?
Did you notice how meditating on how Jehovah views time really helped these friends to cultivate and exercise patience? Now, as we said at the outset, due to our imperfection, it may seem like the results of a goal or a spiritual pursuit are taking longer than what we anticipated. But remember, friends, worthwhile things in life take time and patience. In fact, Psalm 37:5 reassures us that in time, Jehovah will act in our behalf and bring us those blessings. And friends, those blessings will be everlasting. What beautiful benefits we receive when we reflect on Jehovah's view of time. In fact, in this symposium, we're going to look at 3 satisfying pursuits that require both time and patience. The first one, building friendships. The second, growing spiritually. And the third, reaching goals. Now, in the first of these 3 spiritual pursuits will be discussed by Brother Paul Kincaid from the Dayton, Tennessee congregation. In the next talk in this symposium, there is an appointed time for everything. Building friendships takes time.
A question. Which would you rather have at lunch today? A picture of an apple, or would you rather have the real thing? Well, the answer seems obviously, but what's the difference? Well, a picture of an apple, it looks nice. With just a few clicks, I can have as many as I want. But if you try to eat it, it's not going to be very satisfying or taste good at all. Whereas the real apple also looks nice, but it takes time and patience to get. To grow your own, you have to start with a seed. Grow it into a small tree that you take care of, you fertilize and prune. And eventually, when the tree is mature enough, you then have an apple that you can eat and enjoy. That'll both be appealing, satisfying, and taste good. How nicely this illustrates what is needed to build strong friendships today. To have lasting and satisfying friendships, it takes time and patience. Let's take a moment to see how this can be the case in our 2 most important friendships. First of all, let's look at our Bibles at Psalm 25. Psalm 25. And let's take note of verse 14. There it says, close friendships with Jehovah belongs to those who fear him, and he makes his covenant known to them. Yes, the most important friendship that we can develop and take the time and patience to work at is with our God and Father, Jehovah. And as Psalms highlights there, it is possible to have a close friendship with Jehovah. But how? Well, again, with patience. It takes time to learn or come to know Jehovah, to come to know his qualities, to appreciate his likes, his dislikes, really looking for what Jehovah wants to see in those that are his friends. And the more we come to know Jehovah and what he expects, the closer we get to him. Eventually, we get so close to Jehovah that we decide to dedicate our lives to him, knowing that this is the most important or most enjoyable thing that we can do. And thus we continue to deepen that relationship with our Father Jehovah. Even after baptism, we still need patience and time to come to know Jehovah, strengthen our friendship with him. We do that through regular prayer, communicating regularly with Jehovah, pouring out our feelings to him, letting him know what's bothering us, what is on our minds. And then as we talk to Jehovah, we also listen to Jehovah as he communicates to us through his word, through the faithful slave, and the direction that they give. While we communicate, we also look for ways or opportunities to give Jehovah our best, doing what we can to make or do what's pleasing to him. And as we patiently build our friendship with Jehovah, we will find that he will reward us as his friends with blessings in our lives. The wonderful thing about having Jehovah as a friend, though, is that he will never disappoint us. He is always kind, he is always patient, and he is always loving. And this is even despite our sinful condition. And even when we make mistakes, sometimes even serious mistakes, if we commit a serious sin, Jehovah's patience does not end. Yes, he patiently waits until there's a basis that as he watches us to show mercy in our behalf. And then, once there is, he restores that friendship. Now, the secondary in which we can build a close friendship, or that it does take patience and time, is with one another. Yes, with others that we see right here with us today, other friends of Jehovah. Our loving friend Jehovah has provided a worldwide brotherhood that we can find and make true friends within. Just as an example, look around us today. Thousands of individuals that we can build close friendships with, that we take the time to meet and get to know. And we can find those close friends. And now is the time to build close friendships. Why? Well, please open your Bibles to Proverbs 17. Proverbs 17, and let's take a look at verse 17. There it says, "A true friend shows love at all times, and is a brother who is born for times of distress." Yes, notice the type of friend that we can have. We can have such a friend that they are like a brother, a fleshly brother, that is there whenever we need them, those times of distress. And how thankful we are to have such friends, that something happens in our lives and it just seems like they're right there by our side. A brother or a sister that is born for that moment in time of distress. We think too about the coming great tribulation, a time of distress